I want to take you back to 1994, World Cup soccer game. Colombia versus the United States. The United States has a soccer program. Colombia is the soccer program, right? They eat and breathe and sleep soccer. And so the pressure is on them because if they lose, they're out. They're eliminated. But if they win, they can continue to advance. And so, like I said, all the pressure is on them. And so the game starts, and early in the game, one of the United States players crosses the ball over, right? Passes it over to their teammate. And the Colombia defender slides in to intercept it, but instead of blocking the ball away from the net, accidentally they block it into the net. It goes right in the net. 1-0 United States. And it's a big deal because in soccer, goals aren't scored in bunches. And in fact, the end result of the game is 2-1. The United States wins. And so that one goal, that mistake was the defining moment. That's what eliminated them from the World Cup. And they lost. And they're out. And now I couldn't imagine the shame and the guilt, upon this defender as he walks back to the dressing room, gets on the bus, heads back to his country, and all the rejection that he would feel. But the reports say that not long after that, he was home and he was in a bar and hanging out with his friends. And at 3 o'clock in the morning, he goes out to the parking lot, gets in his car. Some guys in these hoodies come over and they have this emotional discussion and argument with him. And they end up shooting him and killing him. And as much as reports say they cannot prove it, everybody links that death to the drug cartel of Colombia because they had so much money wagered on that game that Colombia would win and would advance. And then by this mistake and their loss, they lost so much money that they were out to exact their revenge. And I remember that, and it reminds me of the brokenness of our world. We're all out to get ours, right? We're all about anger. We're all about bitterness. We're all about revenge, and we will fight to pay back and to make sure that we get what's coming to us. And yet I shouldn't be surprised. We shouldn't be surprised because we see it even in the story we looked at on Sunday, the life of Joseph, back in the book of Genesis. Here's a guy who was getting preferential treatment by dad. Yep. A little bit of a tattletale maybe. Had these dreams that his older brothers would bow to him one day. And his brothers, they've had it. And so they exact some revenge, right? They take their anger and envy and jealousy and bitterness and they place it upon Joseph and they sell him as a slave into Egypt. And I couldn't imagine his long ride to Egypt thinking, contemplating, what has happened? What have my brothers done? What does my life look like now? And he faces imprisonment for years, and he challenges and loneliness and all of the frustration and the difficulty surrounding this ordeal. And yet the Bible says God continued to protect him and lead him and guide him to the point where one day he's now in prison in the king's prison. And the king has a dream that he can't interpret. And so God allows Joseph to be the one to interpret it. And so the king places him in second in command. He's able to store up so much food in the 7 years of plenty that when the famine hits, they have tons of food. In fact, people from all sorts of countries come to get some food and to buy food, and even his brothers show up. And they're leery, right? When they find out who Joseph is and what's all gone, they're fearful. What's Joseph going to do? And Joseph makes that phenomenal statement that describes the character and heartbeat of our God. Genesis 50, verse 20. What you intended to harm, God made good on, right? You intended all of this to harm me, but God intended it for good. What a perspective change. Sometimes I know in my own life, maybe in yours, we go through suffering, we go through challenges, we go through trials, and we want escape. We want freedom from it. We want out. God, help me do this, change this. I wonder if sometimes we should walk the journey of suffering, walk the journey of trouble, knowing that what life is intending to harm, what people are intending to harm, God can make great. Maybe great for me one day down the road, maybe great for somebody else. Maybe my trial draws somebody else to the Lord. Maybe my challenge will be erased in years to come or in days to come, and great things will happen through it. Whatever the how, it's just the faith to say, God, my perspective has changed and I will walk this road because you have the power to make all things new. You have the power to make good on this. I wonder if that's a perspective we need to have in the trials and the challenges that are before us today. What does that mean? What does that look like in your life and the things that you're facing? I trust you got the homework sheets that we handed out on Sunday in the bulletin. If not, they're on the homepage of our website, and hopefully you can check that out and just continue to journey with us, diving deeper in the spiritual journey called But God. God bless. Thanks for watching. We'll see you Sunday.